As everyone here knows, my name is Nicole, and today I wanted to talk with you about financial distress. So, how many of you actually identify with the phrase being a broke college student? So everyone. So I thought that this would be a great topic because debt is a accepted part of college life, and I really wanted to question whether it should be. So we're going to start by defining what financial distress is. And that's defined as a tight cash situation in which a business, a household, or most importantly for today, an individual, cannot pay the owed amounts of debt on the due date. If prolonged, this situation can force the owing entity into bankruptcy. So it's basically when you don't have the money to pay your bills on the date that they come. And an interesting fact for us as college students, if you declare bankruptcy, your private student loans will not be forgiven. Your loans are, but not private. And I thought that was an interesting thing. So a little bit about student debt. The average borrower in the college class of 2014 had an average of $33,000 in student loan debt, which may be accompanied by growing credit card debt, as well as auto loan and maybe even a mortgage. The costs for higher education are among the fastest rising in American culture today. Since 1980, tuition costs at colleges and universities have risen by 757%. And who plans on actually going to grad school? Yeah. So, graduate students will be faced with an even greater amount of student debt, and on average, students earning a graduate degree will leave school with approximately $43,500 in accumulated college loans. So, going to school equals college debt. So how is this affecting you as a college student? The latest studies say that 70% of college graduates leave school with a student loan debt that in 2014 averaged $33,000. That much debt at that age doesn't just go away, and the impact of this is being felt in several areas most notably being purchasing a home, starting a business, and delaying marriage. A study conducted by TransUnion in 2014 said student loans make up 36.8% of the total debt for consumers ages 20 to 29. And a study done by Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing said that the rate of home ownership for people between the ages of 25 and 34 has dropped 8 percentage points in the last 10 years. The burden of student debt is a key factor in young graduates not starting a business, and the marriage rate for millennials is down by 12% from the previous generation. So it's really impacting how we're living our lives and our future choices. The good news here is that there is a considerable payoff for getting a diploma. More jobs require a degree, so there are more job opportunities for us who graduate. And the starting salary is higher for college graduates. They're expected to make about $800,000 more over a lifetime than those who don't get their degree. And a little bit more about the impacts of college debt. 40% of young college borrowers delayed major purchases, such as getting a house. 27% of young college borrowers moved in with their parents, which is a little bit about why we're known as the boomerang generation. We all go right back home.
Very true.
14% of college borrowers delayed marriage, and 24% of students say that their debt has affected their career choices. So if you wanted to be a teacher and there's just not the money in it to pay off your student loans, that's going to change your course. Credit card debt is part of going into debt as a college student. It's the fastest growing among young adults between the ages of 18 and 24. And from 1982 to 2011, credit card debt among this demographic has more than doubled. The average undergrad student carries $3,200 in credit card debt. And for those of us, again, who plan on going to graduate school, the average grad student now carries $7,800 in credit card debt, which is up 60% from 1998. 1/4 of all student credit card holders worry that their credit card debt is out of control, and they actually tend to be pretty accurate about that. Worried students carry an average credit card balance of $1,454, more than twice the average balance which is $649 for students who are not worried. So, more about us and credit cards. The number one reason for obtaining a credit card is actually a good reason. It's to build up your credit history, and that's according to 59% of college students. Most reported using their credit cards regularly. 46% on everyday purchases, which could be something that is negative if it's impulse buying. 12% for all types of purchases. 16% reported using their card for large purchases to be paid over time. And only 10% reported only using their credit cards for emergencies. So college students who take sole responsibility for the credit card payments have an average monthly balance that is nearly half the amount of students whose families help pay their bills. So you're more responsible if it's your money. And that is $779 for students who are paying it by themselves compared to $1,461 if you have your family's help. So there's actually good debt, and good debt is sort of viewed as when you spend money to invest in yourself. So that would be considered student loans. And even though you can go into thousands of dollars of debt by pursuing a college degree, higher education increases your earning potential in the workplace, and it allows you to pay back your student loans as well as continue earning more. Bad debt would be considered your credit card loans and auto loans. They don't add monetary value to your life, such as by increasing your net worth or earning power. And anyone who's considered buying a car knows that if you buy it, it depreciates in value the minute you drive it off the lot. So you're really not investing in yourself. And as one of my friends said, spending feels good, but debt actually affects your mental health. So research has indicated that a moderate association between debt and mental health leads to problems such as anxiety and depression. Roberts et al. Identified a link between adverse financial situations of college students and the negative impact of mental and physical health. Andrews and Wildling found that financial stressors were positively associated with increased anxiety and depression levels among college students in the United Kingdom. And another study of British university students found that poor mental health was related to financial stressors such as having difficulty paying bills on time. And if you think about it, this isn't necessarily that shocking. If anyone's had stressed about paying a credit card bill, that is additional stress. And stress leads to increased anxiety. So I just wanted to ask you guys this. What are some things that you do to save money? Ariel?
I don't eat.
You don't eat?
No.
I don't think that's a positive.
Well, like I won't eat McDonald's and stuff like that. I'll have like my granola bars and my little bag of chips at home.
Okay, so you're saying bring food from home. Anyone else? Yeah.
Oh, I take a sneaker box and then I put $1 like every week.
Okay, so you save money.
Yeah. I recommend it. I have $5.
Wendy?
I don't hang out.
You don't hang out. Okay, so you cut back on time spent on leisure. Yeah? Does anyone have anything else?
It's not really like a bit of a tip, but I keep my change. So a lot of the time I'll just like eat my change away like in the quarters, like for the prime meters. But like over time you keep all your change and it amounts to something.
Yeah, I actually think that is an interesting tip. In order for us to save money, you could go back to like rolling your change and just giving it back to stores and banks.
I plan ahead. I kind of like budget my week and like how much money do I have to spend on doing certain things, and
That's a great
that's how I go. Like, you
You
know.
have to balance between what you want and what you need, and your needs are definitely more important.
Exactly.
You think that the 70% off sale on the websites?
Okay, I'm gonna say shopping at discounts. Anything else? So just going back a little bit to the wants and needs, when I was coming up with this, I had a student say that she spends $20 on her lipstick, and I found that really interesting because that's just a large amount of money to go to something that you don't necessarily need, and just goes back to deciding what you want and what you need, and even just cutting back and getting something that's maybe a little cheaper. So I have some additional ways for you to save money, and maybe if you think of anything, you can just throw it out there from what I have. So, saving money on textbooks. I know one of the biggest purchases I've ever made has been on my textbooks. So, using sites like Slugbooks to find the cheapest place to buy or rent your book would be beneficial. Slugbooks actually compares really reputable sites like Amazon and Chegg and even your college bookstore for you to find the cheapest price. Even better, I think, check if the library has a copy of the book available. You can read it here, or you can just scan the chapter to read later. And this doesn't necessarily just have to be the John Jay Library. I've definitely borrowed an art textbook from the public library because that was the only place I could find it. And they didn't want to spend $300 to buy it. Going back to what Ariel said, bringing food from home. And this doesn't have to be limited to bringing yourself chips and a granola bar. A big complaint that a lot of students have about John Jay is the fact that we don't have any microwaves in our cafeteria. But we do have microwave in student council, so you can bother them and use their microwave. And you can even see if there are any clubs here that have a microwave available. So everyone can get.
Does your house have microwave?
We do have a microwave. Yes, so for those of you who are going to be your counselors next semester, you can use the microwave.
Also, theatrical players, I believe, but you just have to ask.
Yeah.
Theatrical players has a fridge also, so just ask.
John, peer counseling has a fridge too. Milking your student status. So a lot of places will give you a discount simply for being a student, and you can get these discounts just by showing your ID and even your college email. So I needed a laptop and I went really expensive and I bought a Mac. But they do give you a student discount, and that's really beneficial for you. So does anyone know of any other places, maybe even in the area?
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, 10% like right across the video shop.
I never heard.
Justin?
Starbucks.
Which one? Because I've heard that.
Right by the church, the big church.
The one closest to where North Pole was.
Yeah.
Carla, do you have a good option?
My restaurant.
Your restaurant offers student discounts? You should tell everyone where it is.
Oh, it's actually right next to the shop. 23rd is there.
You doing it, Grace?
I was gonna say the movie theater. They give discounts.
Which one is that?
And what, like AMC does it, they give.
So that's a great example of something that you could go do for fun and even save money. So the museum also will give you student discounts to go to. Yeah.
There's this website, I don't know if you guys know about it, it's called Unidays.
Yes.
It's
And-
Apple Music.
It's Apple, it's a whole bunch of clothing stores that give students discount if you like renew, if you let them know that you have like an active college email.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they give you like discounts.
Was it Unidays?
Unidays. Like university days.
Everyone write it down.
So I felt like this is a great way for us to sort of talk about saving money. You can even go to your fellow college students and see what you can do. Something most important to me, bringing coffee from home. I need it to function. And you definitely save a lot of money by not going to places like Starbucks and even Dunkin' Donuts, which is a little bit cheaper. And you save yourself time that you would spend waiting in the line. So you're saving time and money. And time is money. And again, going back to your wants and your needs, ask yourself, do you really need this when you're shopping? One of the most important money-saving tips is to not buy an item on impulse. maybe wait a few days and see if you still actually need the item. And I know that when I go shopping, I ask myself in the store if I need it, and most of the time I put it back. Because wants and needs, you need a Metro card, you don't need clothes. Yeah.
On that one too, when you're in the grocery store, what I always do is like, sometimes I feel like I might grab for something because I know the brand, but like the store brand is actually like just as good to me, and if you look at the price, it's like so much less. And I think sometimes we don't totally think about that because you just know the brand and you kind of grab for it, but if you like stop and like take a second in the store and be like, oh, is there a store brand? Is it cheaper? I might not even find it that different, and then you save time.
I think that's a great. Okay. And just, does anyone have any other tips that they want to share?
I agree with her because
Yeah.
Walmart has, I think it's called Great Value is a brand, and it's good. It is good, and it's way cheaper.
So those are all really great tips, and yeah. So now that we talked a lot about the negatives of college debt and student loans, I just wanted to go over some of the benefits of college so you see that your degree is worthwhile. So more and more jobs require college degrees, and during the recession between December 2007 and January 2010, jobs requiring college degrees actually grew by 187,000, while jobs requiring some college or an associate's degree fell by 1.75 million, and jobs requiring a high school degree or less showed the biggest decrease with 5.6 million. And according to a study, a June 2016 study, 99% of job growth between 2010 and 2016 went to workers with associate's degrees, bachelor degrees, and graduate degrees. So we're seeing a lot of job growth for those of us with degrees. So college is worth it. And based on economy and job projections calculated by Georgetown University in 2018, approximately 63% of jobs will require some college education or degree. They'll get hired. So learning is always worthwhile. You want that knowledge. According to Rebecca Mead, staff writer for The New Yorker, college teaches students to nurture critical thought, to develop in them an ability not just to listen actively, but to respond intelligently. And in 2011, 74% of students said that college helped them grow intellectually. 69% of them said that it helped them grow and mature as people. So there are clearly some benefits to college that aren't just financial. Back to the money though, college graduates do make more money. On average, a college graduate with a bachelor's degree earned $30,000 more per year than a high school graduate, or about $500,000 more over a lifetime as of April 2013. Earning an associate's degree was worth about $170,000, more than a high school diploma over a lifetime in 2011. And 85% of Forbes 2012, America's 400 richest people list, were college grads. So for everyone who likes to point out the fact that Bill Gates was a dropout and you don't need it, this says you do.
Yeah.
College graduates reported higher job satisfaction. 58% of college graduates and people with some college or an associate's degree reported being very satisfied with their jobs, compared to 50% of high school graduates and just 40% of people without a high school diploma. So college can make you happier with your career choice in the future. And just to show that we're all already making good choices, as John Jay College students, you're going into less debt. John Jay College was in the top 10 list of colleges on the U.S. News List for graduates with the least student debt. So on average, 68% of 2013 graduates borrowed to attend school, and the average student loan debt was $27,666. At John Jay, only 20% of students borrowed to attend college, and for those students, the average student loan debt was $11,246. So actually, for the majority of students, you aren't having to borrow to pay off. That's 80% of students